imagine yourself in your childhood home so we can invoke emotion and feeling immediately in your meditation and you're not blank. Now, don't do this practice alone every day. A lot of people drive themselves into psychosis with this. But, okay, the whole chat, imagine you are in your childhood home and then go to the basement of that home. Find something like a basement if you don't have it. And start digging a hole. And keep digging. This is an unconscious exercise. To what comes out of your unconscious, I don't know. But something will pop up in your head when you're digging. And chances are, since we're live, nothing's going to pop out because you're not alone. When you're alone, this is a lot easier. But what pops out is going to blow your mind. And as soon as that unconscious becomes conscious, you are healing. Do you understand? So for you guys, it'll be, I swear the biggest issue for chat is you guys follow a million channels and just like sedate yourself with content. I think that's what a chat is. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you right now, bro, you're probably 18. You're going to blink and be 30, and 40, and 50, and nothing changes. No one teaches you how to think. Like, you go to school to train your memory for some books, but it's not thinking. And here's something that'll scare you even more. If every intelligent being on earth they've all written it, whether through scripture or whatever, they've all come to the conclusion that all is mind, that there's an objective and subjective experience that's happening at the same time, and you have insane control over not insane control, you have ultimate control, meaning you're even manifesting when you don't feel like doing it, depending on your feeling. So you could be making a horrible world
Mexican
for yourself.
Mexican Groiper donated $5. Zherka, 20 years old Mexican, got 9K saved up. Making 62 grand a year. I'm lost and not sure how to find my purpose in this life. I feel as if I'm failing myself for not understanding.
Listen. At that age, I have no sympathy for you. Who at 20 years old felt like there's no purpose, no meaning, blah, 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 blah? That's normal. That's what a 20-year-old is. Matter of fact, that's that chaos that has to be turned into order. Now, I could lie to you and say, well, this gives you meaning in that, but meaning is just a branch of the God question. You know, it's like a branch of that infinite tree, like the tree of life. Meaning, if you just start selling, like supplements, there's no meaning there. But if you sell supplements that change lives, now you want to sell more.
$5. What words / phrases / frameworks do you use when praying to Christ?
Yes. First of all, Scripture has been so perverted by average Christians that they lie. They look you in the eyes and say, John, I forgave Bob. And I go, really? Can you imagine you and Bob laughing right now and having fun together? And the Christian will do this. Yeah, I can do that. But you can see the aversion in his eyes that he's a lying bitch, just like most men. And most men of faith are actually horrible people. Bro, I'm telling you, the guys with faith and the guys without it, they act the same. Look at their fucking feeds on their phone. It's literally the same. One is just a little more preachy. And so I go, listen, man, Scripture says that if you can't imagine, this is what imagination's made for, to inspire a change in others, you can tune into different frequencies of the faith frequency, the radio. Can you imagine you and the person you hate getting along, having fun, and can you bathe into that feeling? And if you cannot do that, then you don't have faith in God. So this is how prayer should work, where you're in the feeling. That's why prayer is about feeling. And I always say go to your enemy because it's the hardest thing to do. That's the hardest thing to do, is you and your enemy having ice cream together. That's the hardest thing to do. It might take you weeks, you won't do it. You know what I mean? But that's the next level of your life. That's when you forgive your dad and your ma and your whatever. That's when you start forgiving people, is when you've already imagined yourself what it's like, not in the past or the future, but in the I am. I am forgiving of that person. If you can imagine it happening till now, and you're anchored in the feeling without a charge, meaning no ups and downs, just anchored in the feeling, you're not merciful until you can do that. Now, here's the weird thing is, I can do it, but in 2 weeks, I get angry again. So yeah, most of my prayers will be, I am living an abundant life. I am healthy. My family's healthy. We are healthy. And I start from the up, not down. Most people wait till something happens for the prayer. No. When you're living the I am that is healthy and you're winning, that prayer needs to be keep going. And prayer is an interesting thing, because even when you're not praying, you're praying. It's just the attention is scattered. It's not this solar rays of light need to focus into one thing, right? That's the only difference. But every moment you want something, you want something, you want something.
Christ is all states of matter donated $5. The majority of society are knuckle-headed fools with low IQ.
Yeah.
How to be successful: bet on yourself, then work on yourself so you won't lose the bet. So easy.
I think the easiest tool for success is to do the opposite of whatever you're doing to be a failure. That's the only time you'll realize, oh shit, you're living in the wrong present. Your present nature is wrong. Like, for example, if you guys are lazy guys, but let's say you imagine right now in your head 30 days in a row of you going to basic military qualifications, training. Now, at the end of that, it's not like you're a millionaire, you're just finishing some BMQ, right? But what is the feeling you get from doing all that in your head? Is the feeling of wholeness, that the laziness has been conquered in your head. And that's your first sign to not join the military, but that's your first sign that hard work does get you to this whole mindset. And from a whole mindset, then you can make millions. But the whole point is to go to that whole mindset. How do you go to the self that's whole? And so if you're a lazy guy, you got to be really hardworking until the nature goes the other way. Do you understand? That if you're a hard worker, then you have to take breaks because you're burning out. You're not being creative. You're not going to the next level. But you got to play your opposite. That's the hardest thing to do. So the lazy guy doesn't want to get up and move, and the hardworking guy doesn't want to take breaks. But they both benefit tremendously from playing their opposite. Do you believe words affect your feeling? No, feeling is so easy to describe. It comes about when you get lost. You're gazing, you're daydreaming, and you get lost in an I am, the sanctuary of I am. And that's where feeling is infinite. You know, good feeling is infinite there. But the problem is, when you're daydreaming, you're thinking of the future Ferrari or whatever. Or maybe you're reflecting on the past. But both are a trap. They're both a trap. What are you trying to do? Because this is probably the trickiest part. Most guys who come to me, they're like, I don't know what I want to do. And I go, whoa, you should not come to me right now. You should know what you want to do. You should visualize it. You should draw it on a piece of paper. Because this iPhone never got built until it got imagined. When it gets imagined, then the building process begins. That this iPhone was never even created. We're in the world of creations. So you just tune into the frequency where the iPhone exists. And that's what Steve Jobs did. Now that's hard to grasp because a lot of those fucking channels talk about you creating your world. That's not true. You're not God. You can tune into it. 100%.
Ringmaster donated $5. Have you struggled with belief in free will? Battling your inherent nature, mental illness, addictions, etc.
Yeah, free will is so simple, dude. God gave us the frequency of a perfect life. That's you eating from the tree of life. That's your first frequency. Your second is you can go into a dualistic thinking of good and evil. The second tree. So now you also have 50% of the frequency of a good life with 50% of hell and torture and suffering. So technically you were given two heavens, one absolute, one 50%, what you make of it. Isn't that interesting? And when you grasp that God has created everything, are you saying he did not create dimensions where you're a winner that you can tune into through his hand? Is that what you're saying?
Yoni Boy Zherka donated $5. What do you say to the Protestants that say only faith saves? Is faith not shown through works?
Well, the Protestant is correct in a way that's absolute.
Jews are the problem donated $5.
Bro.
What's the best way to train yourself to be 10 times more productive and not waste your time doing meaningless shit?
Yeah, if you're doing meaningless shit, write down what I'm going to say here. This is really going to change you. If you find yourself doing meaningless shit all the time, it's not really your fault because you're being externally triggered by what you watch. This is why Plato said like music should be illegal, because it can thought loop you. Certain types of music or TV, media, content, whatever. That's why if you look at a successful person, they only watch channels they want to be like. They don't mind numb themselves to entertainment. Right? Like you'll never see me scrolling on TikTok for pranks or whatever you guys do. I've never done that. Like, it's stupid.
You were talking about Protestants and how they believe that faith alone saves.
Yeah, well, in a metaphysical sense, faith is all you have. So if you're faithful in making the next iPhone, technically you just hold on to that faith, linger in that feeling. So if you wearing an Apple shirt makes you want to invent more or some shit, the feeling lingers when you wear that shirt, then stay in that shirt. If you feel better after you do like some cardio and stuff, linger in that cardio, stay in that feeling. But the faith, the frequency of faith, is that ask yourself, can anything come out, anything successful come out without faith? And ask yourself, how powerful is faith? Do you need Jesus for faith? Technically, no, because Jesus rewards even Floyd Mayweather, right? Now, it's better if you do it the correct way, but Floyd Mayweather was faithful to the world he wanted. He was faithful into that, taking care of everyone, millions of dollars. He was faithful to that idea, and he held on to that faith and got what he wanted. Because all good comes from God, right? You have to make it like this. Without the faith, that world doesn't come to you. So technically, faith is everything. Now, what strengthens your faith? Good works. But it's strengthening the one thing you need, which is faith. So things that strengthen the faith, like it's not, when Protestants say faith is all you need, they're not telling you that faith goes like this, up and down. You have to find ways to keep it up.
Red 5 donated $5. How do you cope and recover mentally from a bad health diagnosis that can only get better / reduced by a super plain boring diet for the rest of your life?
You don't need to recover. You are recovered. You don't need to be healthy. You are healthy. You are not diagnosed, bro. Diagnosed? What are you spell casting that it's forever? There's no hero to the human. I don't know why people think, I watch Destiny, he's a hero. I watch Zherka, he's a hero. There are no heroes, bro. These are like humans. Like, you shouldn't make these guys your idols, bro. Like, because if you, let's say you do make someone your idol, what happens when he's on a low? You're absorbing the low. That's why your idol should be God. Because God's never on a low. It's always up. It's up. Just always going to the horizon. That viewpoint where everything is, I have everything I've ever wanted. I'm just tripping. You are tripping. Also, another thing is, you constantly thinking about needing something, just look at how your life has gone. Has it helped you? No. So, whatever you're doing in life that's made you come to this realization of, man, my life sucks, it's all came from that I need. And like, I'm not gonna lie, dude, like, that's fucking retard language. You know what I mean? The I need is victim status at the highest degree.
Can a steadfast relationship with Christ supersede the negative qualities of one's life path?
Yes! That's the whole point. That none of this shit matters if you do good in life. What the fuck? You're only going to do good when you're in the frequency of care. So you'll play better football when you got to take care of a family. There's a care principle to it. You'll Floyd Mayweather, and there's a care aspect that if you're not doing for others, you're not that talented. The care principle is fucking woven into scripture. And also, I don't believe in saving people. They save themselves, bro.
Swaggy
I can't
Floyd
make you
$8.
do anything.
Been reading a lot of occult
That's
and
retarded.
New Age info, and it's been leading me away from Jesus, even though I know the New Age is a deception. How do you get through reading this while keeping your faith strong?
I'm the opposite, dude. It strengthens mine because they're so afraid of Christ, right? Like all the theosophists and stuff, they're all terrified of him. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Religion is not for you if you always feel like you're in a shit mood because of it. Like, that's you perverting a lot of scripture in your head. So it's not for everyone. I'm just saying have faith. I'm not saying stay there opening these books all day. You don't have to get into what some of us are into, right? That's maybe not your calling.
The main things that's been hard for me is reading about Christ consciousness and how they say the Bible is all allegory for racing the Christ oil and not a true story. It's too much for me to ignore.
There is some truth to tuning your frequency, that either you're taking a descent or an ascent. Your soul is either going up towards good or down towards bad. And that's why when people tumble and ruin their lives, they go very fast down. And that's allegorized in the whole, like the cerebrospinal fluid, that it makes that shape where it goes up and down, up and down. And so that's what they talk about. But since you're a human, you're not going to tear open and find with scientists what you're looking for. You have to look at it philosophically. What do they mean by raising the spirit or lowering the spirit? Yeah, escaping negative thought loops is just lingering in the feeling of you being a winner. So what makes you feel like a winner? Let's say it's working out. Let's say it's socializing. Whatever the fuck makes you linger that feeling, you go soak up in that feeling and you hold it for as long as you can. And soon your life just changes, right? Now, you can run from that and eventually it comes back hardcore because you've suppressed it. But do things that level you up. Don't watch TV. Don't scroll through social media or TikTok. Delete it, bro. Delete it because it has more power than you. Right? That FOMO, like, oh, I'm going to miss out on the latest prank video or whatever the fuck you guys watch. That FOMO is stronger than you. And 90% of your day, you're doing things unconsciously, like an animal. That's very dangerous. Winners are conscious of their time.
Manly P. Hall refers to Christianity and the Bible as largely allegorical and a myth in the occult anatomy of man. How do you interpret this?
Yeah, it's basically some people struggle with faith and they go to the allegorical, right? I get it. We do that too. End of the day, there's no such thing as anything allegorical because whatever you imagine becomes. So if you imagine a better world, that you're tuning into that frequency, this is not hocus pocus. This is guys, I'm telling you right now, your thoughts, like, ask yourself, why does a human even go to sleep? Because you've spent your whole day planting your thoughts, and in your sleep, you're watering them. That's what the whole Bible talks about. Listen, a book I recommend from Jung, you're saying, yeah, I like alchemy a lot. I don't recommend Ion, right? That's really advanced. I don't know why everyone goes there. But yeah, that's a great book. And the guy who said he loops 2 weeks happy, 2 weeks sad, if you have this looping life of 2 weeks you're happy, 2 weeks miserable, it's so simple, dude. You're having weeks where you're being versus weeks where you're thinking of being. When you're thinking of being, you're thinking of the past or the future, which is big no-no. Big no-no. Anytime you think of anything in the past or the future, you are about to rape, destroy everything you have here. And I'm telling you right now, it's not about thinking of nothing like a Buddhist. Just follow your desires in right now. So if you have a desire of being a millionaire, what would that look like? What would you do if you were a millionaire? Well, I'd get up and I'd shower. So get the fuck up and shower. Oh, yeah, but I'm not a millionaire. No, get up and do your millionaire shower. Then what else would you do as a millionaire? Well, I'd go to the park and I'd do this. And you start living your fucking life when you start using the faculty of imagination that anchors you into the feelings of winning. And the feelings of winning are always in the moment. They're not in the future. They're not. God, you are cursed if you're winning in the future. I'll tell you that. Because that means you might get it, but it's not going to come to you in what's healthy. It's going to come to you in an abstract way. Like you're unconscious, that it's like tuning you into these different frequencies in life. You're unconscious. It doesn't speak a language, right? It just says yes to whatever you're demanding. So be careful. Can a man talking about the future demand something? Not really. It's not a scary demand. If I knock on your door and I say, I demand this in a week, you'd laugh. But if I knock on your door and say, I demand it now,
donated $5.
you'd be like, oh shit.
Any advice for someone stuck chasing after lust?
Yeah, there's no such thing as lust. It's social media. Just delete everything. Delete everything. Make it hard for you to see that image, that triggering external, that external trigger. What is that? Well, it's when I'm on Instagram. Then get the fuck away from Instagram. Take that stuff out of your system, and you're gonna find yourself, you're beastly because of external triggers. It's not your base form at all. If you're miserable because you watch politics, stop watching politics. It's your external trigger. If you're miserable because you watch sports, stop watching sports. That's your external trigger. If you're miserable because you watch this TV show, stop watching the TV show, because that's your external trigger. Once you cut out all these external triggers from your life, it's not that you're happy, but you found your zero. And zero, you can build from zero. You can literally build. You're receptive to brilliant ideas. Again, you're free. There's psychic content coming up and not being shot out. And remember, guys, you're not generating just through your fucking cock. You're generating through this. Every moment you're generating. Excuse me, not generating. You're tuning into. The moments are all created. You can tune into the moments, right? But in my head, it always feels like I'm creating. I'm not. I'm just tuning into. But I'm telling you guys, these external triggers you have are going to make you very weak. Very, very weak. Right? Like, ask yourself, who is you without social media? You know? Whatever you want in life, close your eyes right now. Don't take my word for it. Try it right now. Close your eyes. Imagine you already have that. Linger in the feeling and see if you still want it. And chances are it's not the real need. It's just an illusion. And there's many of these illusions you go throughout the day that are going to dominate you. But once you unpack them, once you make that opposite real, then remember, when it's the opposite, you don't have it, you want it, then they cycle like wheels. But once you make it real with your imagination, then it's real and you don't want it anymore, and it dissipates and your anxiety lowers because the need goes away. The need goes into something else. It could be something superficial, whatever. It just keeps transmuting. And you can do that for all your thoughts until you come to the base form of what you need. And the base form is what you actually want.
3DNV donated $5. Looking for serious niggas to read Carl Jung with. Red Pill Rage and other viewers that are serious about reading Carl Jung, add me on Discord.
Yeah, that's smart.
We have a schedule.
That's smart.
Discord is 3DNV.
That's smart, yeah. Read books with others and then go through what you read with others. That's smart. Yeah.
Yo Zherka, I'm a junior in college. I'm gonna be making big money once out of college. My girlfriend goes to my college. I just want her to just marry me and have my kids, but she wants a career after college. What should I do?
First of all, you are never going to be a millionaire with that language. Don't say, I will be a millionaire when I complete college. Say, I am a millionaire and I've already completed college. That way she's attracted to you. Because when that's bouncing off your skull, the mystery of Golgotha, then she's more attracted to you. Don't listen to these stupid fucking Christians who Christians tell you, you were created on earth by God's grace. And no, you weren't. In the Bible, it says you can only return to heaven if you are from heaven, from pro-life. You can go into different frequencies in life very easily. You choose the fucking tree you're eating from. Don't listen to that stupid, miserable fucking Christian who says weird shit like, you can't dwell in the spirit of I am. Yes, you can. The spirit dwelleth within you, you fucking idiot. Does that mean that I have to literally do everything myself? You can do everything yourself. It's not going to work unless you have faith. So technically, you're not doing it yourself. You have to have faith. So that's how it works. Through faith, you can do whatever. You can be who you want to be. You can change your whole fucking destiny if you want. But the ending doesn't change. The ending is set in stone, God's stone. What you do before that ending, you can change. You can choose to be a millionaire or a broke guy. You still have the same gate you're going through. But the dumbest thing Christians do is forget that you're picking a tree and you're eating from it. That's all you're doing with every single thought you have. Everything. Everything. If you want to know whether a thought is real or not, linger in the I am. Linger in right now. So, man, I just want a bunch of girls. Okay, imagine. Use your imagination. What's your life? How does your life change if you have a bunch of girls? And then you linger that feeling, the desire, it subsides a bit, and you go, I'm just lonely. That's why I want chicks. And then you're at the bottom of the fruit, right? Then you start eating from the fruit of the one that gives you the life you want, right? I like to preach that works is the same thing, faith and works, but there is no reality. There's no such thing as works. Works doesn't exist. You choose the fruit you want to bite with faith. You have faith in darkness or faith in life. There's the only two. There's nothing. Works doesn't even exist. You have to do the works to prove the faith.
Christian Chad donated $8.88. Why is my game so much better with girls I don't like compared to girls I like?
Because of the need.
How do I emulate the same game with girls I don't like with the ones I like?
Because of your need. Your need to have the ones you like is making you a creep. 90% of human communication is nonverbal. So when you have a need, I want that one, I need that one, she picks up on it and she gets afraid that you're a serial killer. No matter what you say, you're failing. Now, the ones you don't like, you don't have the need, so you're more attractive. It's so simple, right? Now, how do you fix that need? If you're surrounded by the ones you want 24 hours a day, the need shifts. It has to shift.
Ringmaster donated $5.88. I would pay if you made a course on visualization, becoming, and faith. I think you have a lot of insights to unpack.
Bro, I'm the only streamer who doesn't need to stream. These guys can't open websites that'll generate them annuals monthly. I shit on Sneeko. I shit on Heel Mike. I shit on, not Sneeko's deal, but I'll get that deal. Don't worry, I'll get bigger deals. But I'm telling you, guys, think of when you're winning in life. You are being something. Think of when you're losing. You're thinking of being. You're not being. It's really, I want to say simple, but you're going to go to bed and forget it. Right? It's not that simple. But think of any time you picked up a chick. Were you thinking about picking up a chick, or did you just be the man and do the job? So when you see me, Heel Mike, and Action Man talking to chicks, they're sometimes good, sometimes bad, but I'm always perfect. Why? Because I sit down, the girl next to me, I go, you can see my face when I do this, I am her boyfriend. How would I sound if I was her boyfriend? And I turn to her and I speak to her in that language. And they get, oh my God, I like John. Yeah, fate versus free will, okay? It's like this, dude. You're on a boat, and the destination's set. That's your fate. Where you're headed, it's set. Now, how you sit on that boat is up to you. Do you want to sit at the back of the boat where there's no money, or do you want to be a millionaire at the front of the boat? That part's all up to you. What you do here on Earth is all up to you, but your fate is the destination, right? Which is the resurrection, right? We die, but we choose pro-life, so we have eternal life. We go on to the next. New Age spirituality, yeah, I don't really know much about it. What is the New Age even up to these days? What do they do? Do they just talk about manifesting on a paper? Like, if I write it 10 times, it'll happen. No, No, your thoughts are charged by your emotions. So just writing it isn't enough, bro. It's not enough. Yeah, but technically, New Age is everything, bro. Like, bro, anytime someone tries to explain to me what New Age is, they're saying everything under the sun. So I don't even know what the fuck you mean by that, right? But do I believe that everything happens because I asked for it? Only if I can linger in that faith, yes. But no, I don't think you could just ask something and you get it, or else that would happen for all of us. Clearly, there's a system to it. It's also a dangerous system because you can go very crazy. You can start thinking you're the shit, that you're like, wow, I could get anything from God, and I could be my own God, and that New Age stupid shit, right? But yeah, I genuinely believe most Christian channels they're trying their best, but their results suck. You know, my results are awesome. Bro, the reason why shame exists is because the Spirit dwelleth within. That means the Holy Spirit is within this fat ass here, and he did nothing with that. That's the funniest thing, that you have infinite God inspiration in you, and you did that to yourself with it. Well, if everything good from God, it means he has done nothing good. He's like with the devil, bro. Like, he's done nothing good for himself. Guys, be careful about being happy in life. If your happy comes with a charge, it's coming with a dip. Every single time. You want to go to neutral. You want to stay at zero as much as you can. And then life blossoms into whatever you want it to be. Be careful with this searching for happiness. Search for zero, bro. It's awesome to be at zero. It's awesome to be neutral about something. It's awesome. Because from zero, you can go to happy. But if you're in negative or positive, it's going to be like the law of correspondence. There's a pendulum to that. And that's why a lot of times you find yourself happy smoking weed with your buddies, and it comes with a bad dip. So you weren't actually happy. You got to find your zero. Your zero is where you want to be for most of your life. It's clear-headedness. Okay? When you're happy, you could date a bitch who cheats on you and not realize it because you're too happy. Right? You want to be neutral with a lot of things. You want to be fair to what's happening in your life. Right? You make a lot of dumb choices when you're happy.
Red Pill Rage donated $28.88. Do you think happiness is finding a way to suffer less in this world?
Happiness is realizing you don't need something. That's the only time a desire is fulfilled. So you get the girl you want, the desire is fulfilled, you realize you don't need her, and you're happy, right? And it has to come to fruition for you to feel that thing, right? But if you get her and you need more and more chicks, then clearly the need is growing, and which means you're running from happiness. So happiness is always going to be the moment. It's not going to be the past. It's not going to be the future. Not even the future you visualize where you're winning. If you can't visualize it happening to you right now, you're watering the wrong seed. Trust me on that. I spent my whole life doing it a little weird, and I'd always get my success in chaos and different. Now I get the success that I planned for, and it's usually what I can conceive, I believe. And that doesn't mean I limit myself, but I change my perspective into the now. So I don't put a timer when I play with my nephew. I just play with him. I don't put a timer when I go for a walk anymore. Oh, I gotta do this. You don't have to do shit. Go for a walk. Clear your head. Don't put a timer for your 20-minute walk, because that's a need. You have the need to do something after your 20 minutes. You're still in a perpetual need. The need has to be dissolved before you do anything. Before you go on a date, you don't need her. Before you go on a podcast, you don't need that podcast. They need you. That need has to be dissolved for you to gravitate that winning energy. I want to be around Zherka. But if you can sense Zherka needs to be on your podcast, it's kind of like, what the fuck? And that's why if you have never won big things in life, if you're young, you're not going to understand what I'm saying. But when you win in life, you go, oh shit, I didn't need. I could have just won. And that's the best part, right? And that's why people love saying quotes like, he just doesn't give a fuck. Well, why do you love Zherka? He just doesn't give a fuck, man. What is not giving a fuck? Is not having a need. It's not being ruled by desire. And, you're going to run from your mind. You're going to drink alcohol to run from it. But eventually you got to face that need, right? And the need morphs into many different things. Many different things. That's what's scary, is it's an illusion. You have everything you've ever wanted right now, and you're getting more. But you're not in no rush like a bitch. You're not in no rush like a bitch. Because when you're in a rush, you're going to spill the paint on the canvas. You're not going to paint correct. You don't need anything. You don't need anyone. You have everything you've ever wanted because it came true. All is mind, and it already came true for you. So chill out. Stay in the right frequency, because this need energy, it's ugly. Your crush thinks it's ugly. Everyone thinks it's ugly. I think it's ugly. I wanna make changes. No, you're supposed to say, I have made changes. You get? He's living in that future thing, bro. So unhealthy. Man, if I could tell you guys my mentor, right? I'd be like, man, I just want to get ripped. And my mentor used to hit me and say, you are ripped. I'm like, what the fuck? Man, I just want to go to Toronto, and you are in Toronto. I'm like, what the fuck? Man, I just want to get all the girls, and you have all the girls. And he'd just keep hitting me until I changed my language in my head. I was like, damn, I'm fucking rich, don't have to work, got all the girls, and now what? Why do some people smoke and live to 100, Zherka? Come on, dude. We all know the answer. We're afraid of the answer. It's because all is the mind, okay? Bro, there's humans who break their legs and do the marathon still. There's mothers who lift cars to save their toddlers, okay? All is mind. Get with the program, bro. There is no other shame. Shame can only come from self. Winning can only come from self. Losing can only come from self. Tragedy can only be dwelt in the self. Eventually, you move on from tragedies, right? So this whole idea that there's an external and an internal, it's all wrong, okay? There's only the self. There's only the internal. And you could call it selfish. You could say whatever you want. But this is the only thing you've ever battled with. If something external has made you a certain way, that's wrong. That's just wrong. You didn't deal with it correct. That's why you became that way. Okay? Two people, Chuck and Bob, go through the same trauma but have different results. Because one sense of I is different than the other. One sense of self dealt with it better. And once you realize it's all on you, but the Spirit of God dwells within you, then you have the Spirit to fix any problem that the external has given you. When really, the external is just reflecting an internal problem. The external cannot give you a problem. It can only reflect problems that are already within you. So if you see someone who's fat and it triggers you, it's probably you got some weight loss to do. That's why it's triggering you. It's your internal anger. You shouldn't linger in it. These guys who are talking to me about, does positivity really work? I mean, Zherka for the last few months makes more than all of his friends and never has to do a job. I'm sure it's working for just Zherka and no one else. Bro, just use your mind correctly. Let's try it one time, because they don't teach you this in school. I am not a bitch. 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 What are you thinking of? You're thinking of me being a bitch. Now you try it. You say, I am not a bitch. I am not a bitch. What do you think about you being a bitch? So your brain only builds on positive. I am the man. See? You can only build through positive. You cannot actually negate negative. You can only build positive. You can only be pro-life. You can't negate anything. Right? You can't negate the nature that we're dealt. So you can only go up the ladder or down the ladder. And usually going freezing, what people say, freezing is when people say I'm stuck, they're lying to me. They're not saying, John, I'm not going up the ladder and I'm not going down it. If you're stuck, it means you're going up and then down and then up and then down. That's what you're doing. You're doing two things healthy for yourself and two things bad. Two things healthy, two things bad. And you feel stuck in life. Have you ever tried going healthy all the way, you stupid bitch? Why don't you go all the way? It takes 28 days for you to be second nature at anything you do. So after a month, you're free. Have you ever tried to do something correct for at least 1 month of your life? No, you haven't. Because you go up and down, and that's what these fat asses do. They go up and down. Today I'm dieting, today I'm not. That's all they do, and they get stuck. See it through the end. Let the seed blossom, bro. What is the sun, moon, and the stars? All these sparks that are broken out like this. The sun is your conscious, the moon is your unconscious, and when they work together through the alchemical marriage, they birth a star, your new guiding star, your new idea. Because a fantasy is always driving man. So what is your fantasy you're playing out? Is it the fantasy that you're stuck? Is it the fantasy that you're winning? And if it's the fantasy that you're winning, why are you afraid to bathe in that fantasy for longer than 2 days? Why don't you bathe in it for 30 days and see something through to the end for once in your life, just to see if it works? But you're so afraid. You're so afraid of that working, because that means you can never go back to your old life. And people love being losers. They love being, I love just watching Inception and eating some Fritos, and you love L's. Humans love L's. God can give you heaven and heaven mixed with hell, and you will always choose heaven mixed with hell because you're a fucking retard. That's why God said, here's the tree of life. We loved it and we went away from it. Here's the tree of 50-50. Oh yeah, I don't deserve the tree of life, so I go to 50-50, and you still have a second chance, but you're still eating from the wrong fruit of the 50-50. Are you fucking retarded? You got 2 fucking chances. One was infinite. And when you really think about it, you go, there's nothing that I've ever seen to the end that ever failed. You've never seen something through to the end that you failed at. Because even if you didn't get the outcome you want, you became who you want to be. That's what you're trying to do, is change your sense of self. When you change your sense of self, depression doesn't exist. Because depression is for your old self. This is your new self. And when you think of it, you go, wait, so that's what the Hermetic philosophers were talking about with the alchemical codes? And yes, that's exactly what they're talking about. That you can't paint a Da Vinci Mona Lisa until you change your sense of self. But can we all do that? Yes, the Spirit dwells in all. It's not just a literal fact, the scripture. It's also allegorical. It's hidden. There's some esoteric behind it, because you're supposed to figure it out yourself. You're supposed to play the role of Jesus. What are you talking about, John? It literally says you have to pick up your own cross. That's your life, your body you're attached to. What do you think it means by pick up your own cross? What do you think that means? It means you're going to battle your sense of self for the rest of your life. Why don't you get good at battling it? Sneeko and these people we watch, they don't read Jung. They don't understand how the mind works. Jung had a schizophrenic patient losing their mind. They're obsessed with reality. Reality is everything's got to be like this. And Jung just said to them, hey, the brain doesn't swing in a pendulum of right and wrong. It swings from sense to nonsense. And the patient would just tell Jung about a beetle. There's this golden beetle in my dream, and this. And Jung, what did he do? In the middle of his 20th therapy lesson session with him, he opened the window, caught something, opened his hands, and out flew a golden beetle. And the patient was cured for the rest of their life. Their sickness never came back. Because the patient said, oh my God, that's the beetle in my, now it wasn't the exact beetle, but that's the beetle in my dream. And Jung said, yes. He had another patient who kept talking about, I live on the moon. Because she had something traumatic happened to her. And so like in the movie Shutter Island, he would play the fantasy to the end. Some women would fall in love with him and say, you need to have my kids. I need to marry you, Carl Gustav Jung. You are the Christian that I need. And he'd say, let it run its course. She said, in 25 days is our marriage. And on the 25th day, they would wake up and have an epiphany and say, I don't actually want to marry you. He would let them run their delusion. And Jung's greatest work is when he says, this woman who keeps thinking she's on the moon because she got raped or something happened to her and her mind fractured, She kept talking about the moon. I'm on the moon, and I'm on the moon, and I'm doing this on the moon. Jung said, he's talking to another colleague, and he says, she's on the moon. She's on the moon in her mind. And the colleague responds to Jung and says, she thinks she's on the moon. And Jung says, no, she's actually on the moon. And the colleague stood like this and said, are you saying our minds build our reality? That in her head she's actually on the moon and she can't tell the difference? And that colleague was shocked when Jung became number one. And he spent the rest of his life going, holy shit, that woman is not on the moon in her mind. She's literally on the moon. She's literally on, that's what a winner is. A winner is on his fucking moon. Only losers think the world is objective. There is an objective fact to it, but it shifts, man. Humans literally change reality with their minds. Not that they're changing, creating, they're tuning into different worlds. There's a world where Zherka's talking to you like this and he's on a horse. And if we knew how to work our minds correct, we could tune into that world. And you'd say, what the fuck, how did you do that? You can tune into any reality if you're in the present, but the human can never think of the present. The human cannot quantum leap. He can only live in the past and the future, where all of his failures are. There's no successful human in the future or the past. And when you understand, is mind in the skull? No, bro. They can't target where the mind is. Nobody can. Is the mind yours? Because the soul is. So if the mind's not yours, it's ours. That the soul is split into many different pathways. Some pathways of justice, some pathways of temperance, some pathways, but it's all you. And the second you realize this, you go, is that why they had hieroglyphics instead of language, John Zherka? Well, yes, that's exactly why. That if I say, think of freedom, chat, and dwell in the feeling of freedom, chat says, I don't know how. But if I draw a white dove, you get the sense of freedom immediately. And you can take that symbol into the feeling, and the feeling cooks your moment. What do you think every YouTube channel you've ever watched on alchemy didn't get it right? They can't explain to you, how do you cook the fire in water? They don't understand the alchemical text because water is feeling, and fire is inspiration, and passion, and emotion. The right kind of emotion, the right kind. And so you grab your inspirational idea and you cook it in your feeling. What does it feel for you to have that, what you desire? And it starts coming your way. There's philosophy that took us nowhere in life. And then there's Hermetic philosophy that literally comes from the Bible. The Bible is the greatest code for fixing your life if you know what you're doing. You have no idea that code in the Bible is so guarded, because obviously if everyone thought like this, the world would get a little crazy. So obviously the stupid people can't know this secret, but this secret's in there. 90% of my chatters don't deserve this secret. That's why I freely say it, because they're never going to know how to do it. Only the initiated know how to do it. A loser will always be a loser because he doesn't live in the present, ever. That's why I can talk to losers and I don't feel like I'm giving them anything dangerous. They're stuck in that. A loser is always the past, always the present. And you can see when they talk about life, they talk about the past and the present and blah, blah, blah. Loser shit. But it is crazy to me how in high school they teach us memory games, how to remember things. They never taught us why the ancient Egyptians had hieroglyphics. Why was there a language of code, a philosophical code? Because certain philosophical patterns of thinking drive you into cooking a thought into reality. Which thoughts are the most cooked into reality by water? Thoughts where you're lustful and don't get no ass, where you're broke and only see Ferraris. They play the opposites against you through the TV. Let's go. By the time you figure it out, it'll be too late.
IAM donated $5.
You know why God made our imagination the testing grounds of our reality? To see if we can follow the care principle throughout our whole life. And we can't. If you can follow the care principle, meaning care about yourself for one 10-minute thought, you're free from the shackles forever. If you could say, you know what? I'm going to care about myself and what I want for 10 minutes. Go bask in the feeling of what you want. Tell me what you want. Say it out loud. And if you don't know, you're fucked. But if you know what you want, it's already coming to you. Now, it might come out like a fucked up little dirty rose, or it could blossom perfectly, and you reap what you sow. The thoughts you plant today are being germinated in your sleep. That's why you sleep, you fucking idiot. You don't sleep because you're tired. When you realize that the operator, the unconscious, is doing it all for you, you ask yourself, how many negative thoughts have I watered? And you look back in the times you're winning in life, you go, damn, I was being. There was flow there. Just look at your wins, bro. What books do you read? I read the Bible and that's it. One in the chat, that's it. How do you have what you want? When you bathe in the feeling that you already have it, meaning there's no greed. The desire is fulfilled in your imagination. It lowers greed over time when you follow the care principle. Self-care and care of others, you will not be obstructed by anything. You're good. You're golden. Now, in the Bible, it says you get angry. Be angry, but don't lose character. Don't lose your I am. You have a cross that you are walking through your life. That's your own suffering. And you're going to learn to be like Christ with that and not bitch and moan and complain. I'd like for you guys to get into the habit of drawing your life. Even if it's a stick figure, it'll mean a lot to you. You'll see things clearer. Draw who you want to be and imagine you being that person, and you're going to see your feet take legs and start walking towards the right opportunities in life without your consent. Your unconscious behavior starts becoming positive. Oh yes, very positive. You who smoke weed and drink, that's your unconscious behavior. That's going to transmute into you seeking out opportunity. All the misery in your life, you generated that shit. You tuned into that shit. This is like mastery level of how to think. And the weird thing is, you having this doesn't obstruct anyone else from having it. It's been jealously guarded throughout centuries, but bro, it's a frequency. There's a frequency where everyone's winning at the same time. Yeah, that exists. It was our first frequency. By design, that was our first tree of life. And we fucked that up.